Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today doing a film session on the Bears pass defense versus the Eagles. Our favorite topic, man. But for all those real Bear fans, I'm just kidding. But for the Bear fans that are like me that find this stuff interesting on this channel, then you want to know. You want to go to the film. You want to be able to see week by week how we're progressing, how we're looking, who's weak link, who's not, who's stepping up, all that good stuff. So some people are like, we lost, move on. Nah, that's not me. I like to go to the film. So anyway, we're going to be looking at Carson Wentz's completed passes against us. And there's 26. Again, I'm not going to do all the passes together because there's too much. So I figure we focus on completed passes. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get this started. And we'll be starting in the first quarter. And I'll try to get through all of them. We'll see. I don't want to go too long. But sometimes, that's what film sessions are. So anyway, we got 2x2, play action. We roll. And this is a little bit of flood route. So here's what's interesting. We ran something similar with this little rollout where we got kind of a flag, kind of a flat, but we don't have this middle part coming across. So this is more like a true flood. And so now you got that third option right there if the two outside options aren't working. And that's what I like. But again, I'm not really trying to break down their play calling. Got to break down what we did. So we had the linebackers bid up on that. Busters. In man coverage, it looks like. And it's a tightly contested pass, but, just moving the pocket after getting the defense to commit. And that's, again, as I said in the recap, when you run the ball like that, all of these other things then come into play. So, really not a regular pass rush or anything like that. It was a play action. So, all right, next play. 2nd and 7, first quarter. Got trips bunched to the right. You know what's funny? That's similar to our curl concept. That's very similar. Remember, Nagy did come from a tree that Peterson came to as well. So Ertz kind of wheels around but ends up running a curl concept in the out route. That's actually exactly our curl concept. Ugh. And they completed it, but not for a lot. So seeing Kyle Fuller kind of jump. And again, he's best when he breaks and trusts in it. So that's interesting. I wonder how many times they ran the curl concept. But looking at the pass rush, so we're going to be looking at two things, pass rush and pass, secondary. So I guess we'll have a lot to look at. So I won't probably go through everything. Maybe I'll just do the first half. How about that? All right, so we end up rushing 3 D linemen and then Roquan. I don't know if he blitzed or if he just decided to come. Let me see that one more time. So Leonard Floyd peels off. And really, again, I talked about outside of Mac, we don't have those pass rushers. So, and it's a quick play, but we don't really have anybody creating any pressure. And they leave Mac unblocked, so which is weird. I don't know. So many teams do that. Anyway, 4th and 2. We know Doug Peterson likes to go for it on 4th down. Bunch trips to the left. And they did a lot of that release with Zach Ertz. As you'll see, this is like the 3rd time he did it. So he's going to release around and basically using it as a soft pick. So now he's wide open. And what you got essentially is like a trail route, but in real quick motion. So really a trail route, they go here and then somebody trails behind them. But this is kind of the same thing, except for in a very short version. And so he's going here. He releases out, but then I'm coming behind him in the trail. And so now Eddie is off his assignment. So looking at that one time again, I hate to keep going back, but trying to see who's who. Mac's not covering anybody. Buster's at the point. So really, you can do a couple ways. You do an IOU. I got the outside. Anything that comes outside, you got anything that comes inside. It could be man coverage. It's a couple ways you could get it, but he's obviously playing the outside, and so is Eddie, and I'm not sure why. So now we got 2-for-1, and so I don't know the coverage call, but I know most coverages don't have these two going to the outside. So I would have to guess Eddie was supposed to take whatever was coming inside. And he just got caught up in the natural pick. And remember, that's 4th down, so that takes some guts. And so Khalil's out here just to give him the presence. So he's got a longer rush. We blitz somebody as well. Just a well-designed play. All right, so 1st and 20, first quarter. Trips to the left. And they run a screen, and it is wide open. All right, so let's check that screen out. We got 4 up on the line. So regular drop back, everything looks normal. They let Eddie. Now, Eddie actually stops rushing because he senses that it's a screen, which is good by him, but he goes the wrong way. He thinks the screen is behind him. He realizes he just got let go. And so he gets back, but the screen's the other way. They secure Roy Robert Harris. He never got off his block until the screen came. I believe that's Walters on the outside. They secure him. And so, I mean, really, you just got good linemen that really did a good job of selling this. So the center is going to get on the linebacker. And really, he makes the whole thing. I mean, it's nice that you had Brandon Brooks down the field afterwards, but really, the center has to make this block. He does, backside there. Eddie kind of took himself out of the play. Just a good job by the line. Good timing and understanding where they needed to go. But again, coming out of that formation, they know that the Bears like to spread themselves, and so they were able to do that. So trips to the right. And again, we see the same play from earlier. Similar to when we run the smash route out of the sprint out. Just a flat route. They do more of an over, but they had this middle route too, which is nice. And I'm willing to bet it was open. So he's coming on over. That's wide open. Dude, just steal that play, Nagy. I know you're not watching, but just steal that play. I mean, come on. That's bread and butter right there. All right, so 2nd and 1. Ball at the 50, first quarter still. We got 2 tight ends, 12 personnel. 2 receivers to the other side. Let's see. So it ends up checking it down to the running back. Let's see what they ran. So we got a flat route. We got an over route, an out route, a curl route. So interesting. I like that idea because, and again, I'm trying not to do the play calling, but it's just interesting. Because he's going to run the out route, so that's going to kind of draw attention here to anybody to the outside. And then he's coming on the over. So now if this guy goes to the flat, you got one linebacker there in space, and that's wide open because everybody else is following this out route. But we do a good job. Looks like we were, I don't think we were in man coverage. But Roquan just does a good job. And that's what you get him for, that sideline to sideline speed. Able to chase down plays. And again, it's nice when you're up in the score. It's nice when they're running side to side, but when they're running up the middle, that's a whole different story. So anyway, his pass coverage is a plus. I've always said that. So 1st and 5, still the first quarter. They're in the empty set now. See, we got audible. We're nickel. Buster's in. I believe that's Buster. No, this is Leonard Floyd, so we're not in the nickel. All right, so let's rewind that. Another interesting concept. This is almost like a China route, but not exactly. So we're gonna have the two inside guys run out routes. So he runs out, he's going vertical. And actually the third guy outside runs out too. So that's more kind of like a China route. It's more like an empties China route. So you're gonna have all three of these guys running out routes, and then he's going vertical. So now he breaks down, he gets those two, and he breaks down, he's open. Or if he goes with him, then he's open. So nice little triangle. Really, he was open, but let me see who he ended up going to. And that's just the space vacated by the linebacker. But a nice tackle. That's Roquan. I like that. I mean, that's an old school kind of concept China route, but I like that out of empty. And really, he might want it to go here because that would have been more open. But, Zach Ertz is a big target at tight end. Hard to stop him, but, making sure he doesn't get any yards after the catch is a big thing. So 3rd and 1, and they actually pass it. Let's see what they do. A little play action sprint and actually go back door to Ertz again. And that time, Trevathan tried to make a play by stripping him, and so he ends up breaking the tackle for more. So I think Ertz is on this side. So they're just going to kind of do a play action sprint. And sometimes we see a lot of teams do this. They'll play action sprint. They never get it there. The running back's wide open. They just go to him. And so instead of that, they leak the tight end back door on a little bit of a delay. And that's just a good recognition by Wentz. I mean, we were in position. Trevathan wasn't too far out of position, but, he let the extra yards up going for the big play, and that's the risk reward you take. All right, 3rd and 2, ball on the 7. We're in the second quarter. Empty, or starts off in empty. See, they motion a guy, run a screen. Great play by Prince, fighting through that block. It's kind of hard to see from here. But yeah, you can see there, Prince fights through that block. And the running back he's flat-footed. He doesn't have any momentum because that's Sanders, I believe. But Prince breaks down, gets through that block by Ertz, makes a nice play. Well, a hell of a play because this is one of the times we stopped them from scoring or from getting a touchdown. So a little screen out of empty in the white zone. Something that actually we did almost the exact same thing with Cordell Patterson. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. So 2nd and 6, second quarter still, trips to the left, close, tight end to the right. Tight pass. Let's see what that combination was. So Ertz is going to release outside, then slant inside. We got a curl underneath. We got a smash route going on over here. A lot of options, a lot of levels. And Ertz does what a good receiver does. He sets up his target. He starts going outside, then breaks it inside. And not exactly Kyle Fuller's job. As you can see, he has outside leverage for a reason. Count on the linebackers, but the linebacker has his eyes here, and then you get the slant behind. Now, Trevathan does a good job of reading the quarterback. He almost got in the area, but there's a reason they designed to play like that. So he's going to come curl right in front of the linebacker space. So now the linebackers are looking there, and then they hit the slant behind it. Good play design. And then you'll have Roquan taking the running back out of the backfield. And really, it's simple math, because if Roquan sits and doesn't vacate, then you just go to the running back outside. So Wentz really understanding what the concept is, where to go with the ball. All right, so we got the 2 tight ends to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Play action. Let's see here. And this is what you can do when you got athletic tight ends. So we really run kind of that pop or shot route a little bit, 2 post. And really both of them was open, to be quite honest with you. Let's see, we got Buster here, Clint Dix here, so Eddie Jackson's here. So now Clint Dix, that tight end's got Eddie's attention. So now it's just one-on-one. And we know they complained about a foul. They both collided. And so I don't know that they will call that, because you had both of these guys kind of pushing. So, yeah. So some people will say that was interference, but either way, you left Kyle Fuller on a one-on-one because the first tight end caught Eddie Jackson's attention. Now I just want to look backside and see what they ran. And they just ran, I don't know what you would call that, but they just ran like a sticks route, like hitch, fade, just to clear it out. So, and Carson was actually looking that way first. I forgot how many far they had to go for the first down. He was looking that way, and then he knew his backside read. And that's how you know a quarterback understands coverage, because when he looks to one side, it's not just, oh, is somebody open? No, okay, is somebody open? That's not how it works. You look to one side, and then you see the coverage there, so you say, okay, well, if they're playing this, then obviously they can't have coverage over here, so I'm going to my other option. And it's decisive. All right, so trips to the left. Another dump off or check down. I believe that was Sproles this time. See, he runs a flat. We got a drag, kind of that same thing. Drag with the over. Kind of that flood concept again. Pretty similar to the one they ran earlier. Let's look at the pass rush. Bilal Nichols and Nick Williams. And he's got time. He just checks it down. Kyle does a good job there. Honestly, we got a lot of stuff over the middle I think he could have hit. Let's see how in position Trevathan was. Well, he lets it go. Clint Dix is coming down, looking to jump it. So he's got a robber there. So that's fine. But then we got the backside. Buster's there. So good coverage. All right, this should be the last play. 3rd and 2. And, that's all day. We're giving them cushion. Because, they're only 21. I remember that last draft was like, what are they doing? So he just picks up the 2 yards. Actually, this might not be the last play. Let's see. He picks up the first. And they still are so far away that we were like, okay, it really doesn't matter. So double stacks, one of my favorite formations. Yeah, he just run a little bit of a bench route. So, all right, so that's it. That's effectively it for that half. Yeah, interesting. Interesting to see some of the similarities to Nagy's concepts. But, and I was trying hard not to compare play calling and play design, but it caught my eye. But overall, I think this is nothing new. I think when you run the ball like that, our linebackers are already susceptible to the run, and it just makes them even more susceptible when we're running well. Then you can play action them, and that leaves the middle of the field wide open, which is where the NFL likes to throw. Outside of that, I just think that our pass rush doesn't get it done. Plain and simple. And I'm starting to include Khalil Mack in that category. Not to say that he can't play or that he doesn't have talent, but they're not getting it done. Plain in the story. Now, there is some teams like this one that will use screens, quick plays, sprint out, rollouts, play action, and they run first. So I can respect that. But again, that's why it's a whole team unit. If we stop the run as a defense, then we can stop the pass as a defense better. But it all kind of feeds into itself. But when it's straight up pass rush situations, and we'll see a little more, and they got some sacks on Carson Wentz, I just still feel like we're lacking a lot in that department. So, yeah. So anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you got to the end of this, put North Dakota State for the comment. And share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.